All right, so last week we talked about the fundamentals of determining people's character, right? Understanding that the signs of people's character isn't in the first impression you get, but over a small but long drawn out dose of their personality that allows you to understand who they really are at the depth of their being. So what some of the signs are, like I said earlier last week, understanding the patterns in their past, how they make decisions, the quality of the decision, how they solve problems, how they delegate work, and how they work with others is will tell you more of people's character rather than how they treat you directly in one occasion, because that's deceptive. You understand? We talked about the layers of character, and we talked about what's our understanding of all of this, what's our responsibility that will we talked about a homework that each one of us should assign that allows you to understand people better. All right. So for those who are watching online, I've decided to post this online. This is part of my online book club, which is about the laws of human nature. If you guys want to sign up, just click on the link below. If you guys want individual coaching, one-on-one coaching, you guys are here, but the people are online. Click on the link below, and you guys will get individualized coaching. Right? All right. So let's begin this. Right. So the character signs. Right. The first character sign is the most important way. So the most important way to test people's character is over time. Right. That's why you need to be patient. That's why you got to stop trying to get to know people fast. That's why you got to stop trying to speed up the process. It has to be something that you gotta serenade. You have to take your time when it comes to this. No matter what people say, their character will always show over time. The self is always coming through. Doesn't matter it doesn't matter how try you hard, your character will show over time, especially when it's under pressure. Especially during hard times, exactly, right? Maybe they disappear when things get intimate, right? You might think you have someone until it's time to get intimate, and they moonwalk their asses back, right? Maybe they are arrogant when challenged. Maybe they stay confident and charming until you challenge them. You know, all of those things are a reflection of people's character. Knowing this, you can learn then to look into their past to see for patterns. Patterns. We're talking about patterns, not one-time occasions. Patterns, and see how they fit their current situation. In other words, use their past, use your understanding of the things they've done in the past, and use that as your context to judge who they are in this moment. Knowing this, right? Don't look at people's actions as an isolated incident. You see, people never do things just once, and this is actually so true. I was playing basketball today with this one douchebag, and he wasn't passing me the rock, and I could tell he was being a douche. And I asked one of my friends, I was like, yo, dude, who the fuck is that dude? Why is he being such a dick to me? He was like, oh, man, he's always like that. You see, the thing is that a lot of times we just go into people's lives new. We forget that they have a history. We think that what people are doing to us in the moment is isolated, but we always fail to remember that maybe this is part of who they are. And it allows us to judge them with more accuracy and deal with the blowbacks of our feelings being hurt or whatever happens, because you have better context to their actions, right? See it as part of a whole. Remember, people never do things just once. The second thing. So we talked about the character signs, right? By understanding them over time. That's how you can see their character. The second thing is how they handle affairs, their daily affairs. If they're late once, they might be late all the time. This is so true, man. This is so true. This is actually extremely true beyond belief. If they're late once, most likely they're always late. Tell me how many things do you do that you hope people don't pay attention to because it's part of a pattern, right? How many things do we do to individuals that don't know us, that they're not aware that what's really happening is you repeating your own patterns? How many? A lot of them. A lot of them. And what's crazy is that the people in the receiving end, they think that this is maybe just a one-time thing, or worse, is because of them. See what I'm saying? It's like guys who don't understand women. They don't understand that women are fickle. Women will flake on your ass. They don't give a fuck. You know? And because they don't understand that about women, they take it personal. Right? Look how they treat, okay, so that's one thing. Notice how they might be late all the time. If somebody cheated on you, they might cheat on you again. Simple as that. If somebody dumped you and got back with you, they might dump you and get back with you again. People rarely change, man. This is a very sad truth. People barely change. They barely change. It's really sad to really like process that. People barely change. You know? How many people do you know really change over time? Most people become more of who they are. Look at how they treat employees, or if they don't pay attention to the details and small things, they'll do the same with bigger things. If they're irresponsible now, they'll be irresponsible later. Oh, how about having hope in people? Bitch, this is not the time to have hope in people. We're just trying to understand people. You know? Sun Tzu said, leading an army of 10 is the same as leading an army of 100, whatever the fuck. You see? If you're being lazy now, you'll be lazy tomorrow. As simple as that. Understanding that of people and not letting their facades and words fool you and letting you know, not letting the words say, hey, I won't repeat my pattern again, even though it goes against human nature. Understanding that will help you not be fooled by people's promises. Another way is when given a task, they crumble, right? Or the opposite. When they're given a task, they rise to the occasion. Look at how they handle power and responsibility. You see, a lot of this has to be with just observing them. Observing how they deal with power, observing how they deal with responsibility, observing how they deal with not being paid attention to, noticing what they do when no one's around, noticing what they're doing when people are around, noticing how their character changes how their personality changes based on the different kinds of pressure. You got to be aware of that. Pay close attention. The information is there. It is your fault you're not seeing it. When people gain power, their true selves come out. They might feel entitled to treat others as different. You see, all of these things will happen. When people say, man, he changed. Nah, his true self came out. Everyone's being suppressed. Everyone cannot wait to be themselves, but they can't because there's people hovering over them that have power over them. As a result, when they gain power, the freedom to be themselves, what you see isn't new, it's just been repressed. See what I'm saying? Oh, he was so sweet to me during their relationship. As soon as we got together, he became an asshole. That's because he was holding that in until you finally gave in. Right? That's why it's always good to give people the illusion of power so that you can see who they really are. Right? The type of relationship they get into say about people's character, the type of relationship. Talk about their character. You can also observe people away from work, like doing sports and competitions, and noticing how they behave. You see, a lot of people, they disregard those little things, those little simple things. They disregard it. It's all in front of you. It's information. But we just don't pay attention because there's always a new problem to focus on. The type of relationship they get into say a lot about their character, right? There are two kinds of people in this world: extrovert and introvert. Most people are extrovert, and most people are, and fewer people are introvert. Introvert think about what others think of them, and extrovert think about what others think of them, and introvert think and introverts think about what others think of them, and introverts think. Yeah. Extroverts are governed by outer criteria. All right, disregard it. Introverted people create things and keep it to themselves, right? Extroverted people love facts and stats and love to hear people's opinions and share their work. They love to come up with their own ideas. Michelangelo was introverted, Leonardo da Vinci was extroverted, stuff like that, right? And this is the crazy thing, is that introverted people and extroverted people don't naturally understand each other. In fact, Leonardo and Michelangelo didn't like each other. Once you understand which one the person is, you could then reassess their character using the right context. For example, there's this one kid where I played basketball with. This dude don't smile. This dude always looks like he always looks like he's butthurt, you know? And I just thought he was an asshole. So the whole time I was treating his lack of engagement as him being a dick because I'm not like that. But then I found out he's an introverted dude, right? And so then it actually forced me to change my judgment of him. It forced me to change my judgment. Right now I see him as just being polite. In fact, that thing, he thinks I'm rude. You know, and it's just like this. Know who you're dealing with. If someone's introverted, know how that they might potentially see your extroverted personality as a little douchey. And use that information to get what you want. Don't be, oh, you know, if he doesn't like me, for me, then too bad. No, I mean, if you want to get something out of this, then understand that being a little bit extroverted, it could turn them off. So be a little smart and use that as information. Now, most people just say, oh, they don't like me for me, fuck it. You're being an idiot, man. You're being an idiot. Learn how to sometimes get what you want by being a little bit, by thinking ahead for once. I know. It takes effort. I know it takes effort. But who knew getting what you want took effort? All right. It's also important to know the strength of people's character. Strength does not mean aggression or bravado, but an inner adaptability and persistence, like metal that can bend and be strong. You see, people of strong character adjust to change. They adjust to change, you know? And people who cannot adjust to change fundamentally have a weak character. They don't understand their nature, their adaptable nature. Strong character people understand their true nature. That if they wait long enough, they can overcome that weakness. That change doesn't mean an ending. It means that they have to adjust, and as a result, adjusting equals becoming stronger. They believe in their strength. They believe they can get stronger, and they don't complain about it. You see, as a result, they complain less, and they're easier to deal with. People of weak character complain at change. In fact, resist it, and it can even affect you. So, how to tell people's character? Notice their adaptability. How do they react to change? And the information is there. Just observe, pay fucking attention. It's there. Right? So what are the signs of strong character, right? They're easy to adapt. They take criticism well. Right? So easy to adapt, take criticism well. They're open-minded. They have a presence of mind in the midst of chaos. In other words, when things go wrong, they relax and think properly. They don't lose their cool. They don't raise their voice out of anger. They stay centered. They organize a lot of material. They know how to organize their lives. And they have personal security and self-worth. They know they have something to offer. So as a result, when they get a no, they don't get desperate. They know a yes will come eventually. Because they know how strong and how valuable they are. They know themselves. Knowing yourself is one of the only things that is an end in itself. Knowing yourself is understanding your true nature. Understanding that just because you suck at something right now doesn't mean if you keep practicing, you're always going to suck. Knowing yourself is getting excited at the fact that changing because you know that strengthens you. What are the signs of a weak character? These are easily to tell. You can easily tell the signs of a weak character because they give themselves up a lot from time to time. One, they're easily overwhelmed. Right? They don't have a presence of mind. They can't think straight. They get emotional. They can't be taught. And they can't take criticism. They never listen. Easily overwhelmed, cannot be taught, they take criticism, and they never listen. Those are the signs of a weak character. So how do you test it? Like I said, just observe how they handle stressful moments over time. Look for patterns such as things they complete and leave incomplete, or make a joke about them and see how they react. Criticism will always bring out their character as well. You know? When things get tight, observe them. When they don't get what they want, observe them. Notice what they complete and they don't complete. Joke with them and see how they react. Criticize them and see how they deal with the criticism. Do they get defensive? Just do it. You got to test people. Sometimes we're afraid to see the answers. Sometimes we're afraid to test people because most likely they might fail. We secretly know they will fail. You know? So we have a few personality types that's of the negative of weak character traits. Let me show you some. We're going to talk about some weak character traits. The toxic type. The toxic type has always existed. They mask their weakness as strength. The best defense is knowing them, regarding the signs, reading the signs early on, and moving the fuck on as soon as you recognize them. You know. So what's a toxic type? For example, what's a bad friend? A friend who I don't know. Let's say someone who's super extroverted, right? No, let's say somebody's very narcissistic. You know, they're very narcissistic, and as a result of their self. No, actually, let's just say somebody is let's say somebody's gay, right? You know, the typical gay priest who stands against gay people, but he's secretly gay, stuff like that. Where, for example, the guy who's hyper masculine, showing all the muscles, super steroids, all because he never felt like a man and took it too far this time. You know, like hyper masculinity means a guy deep inside. It means that there's a guy who deeply felt insecure. But if you just focus on surface, you might just focus on his hyper masculinity, but you might forget to notice what's deep inside, which is his desire to show you how masculine he is. What happens when you don't recognize his masculinity? He feels inferior. You see, that wealth of information of the person's character is lying underneath their bravado. And they can only pray you ignore their bravado. You focus on their bravado and don't focus on what's deep inside of them. That's a toxic type. Because in reality, their desire to show how masculine they are they will attack people who make them feel inferior. If you have a girlfriend and he doesn't have a girlfriend and he wants to show how masculine they are, he's gonna hate on you. In fact, he'll try to fuck your girl because you're making him feel inferior. That's just how it is. The second one is a hyper perfectionist. What's the lure? Because you got to realize these personality traits have their lures. They have their attractive, their appealing quality. The lure is the hard work and dedication they show. Sure, they might be angry like Chef Ramsay, but it's because they're showing passion. I don't think this is Chef Ramsay, but I'm just saying an example. Chef Ramsay is someone who gets angry a lot. But it's because of his passion. It's not because he's insecure, but because he's a perfectionist. The truth is that they don't know how to delegate. They're always hyper perfectionists, always trying to do the work for you because they just can't delegate. It's not that they can't do the work, but that they suck at delegating work. So they have to do everything themselves. It's more about control and power rather than high standards. It's not that you have high standards. that you always have to be on top of people, is because you don't know how to delegate. You know? It's a compulsive need to micromanage that makes people resistant. It's not a desire for perfection for the craft itself. It comes from a place of insecurity. It's a compulsive need to micromanage, which is the last thing hyper perfectionist want, right? The last thing they want is resistant people. And the first thing they create is resistant people. How ironic. The second one, the relentless rebel. The third one, the relentless rebel. They hate authority and love the underdog, right? They naturally hate authority and love the underdog. Like naturally. Like they'll always pick the underdog. They hate being told what to do. They have a biting sense of humor and have a compulsion to feel superior to others. And they use that role as a way. Maybe in their childhood, somebody lost their trust, so they hate authority as a result of it. You know those people who are playfully a dickhead, who are mavericks, independent, who speak their mind, who make fun of you, but they're just playing around, but they can't take the jokes back. That's what we're talking about. And there's nothing wrong with being a rebel, nothing wrong with being independent, right? But when it's a compulsion to feel better about yourself, when it's a compulsion to feel superior to other people, then it becomes toxic, right? Because then when you feel inferior, this pattern will begin to act out and you won't be able to control it. Oh, sure, you can control it now when you feel secure, but when you feel insecure, that's just going to bite you in the ass and you're going to start offending the wrong people. The third one, the personalizer, the one who personalizes everything. These people are sensitive, thoughtful, and great listeners. Oh yeah, they do love to listen. And they have a hint of melancholy to their character. But this sensitivity is self-serving. They are looking for any personal attacks. They're not really listening to you. They're just looking for anything that might offend them. These people never got enough in their childhood. So they resent that reality. So they resent that reality as adults. They want others to give them what they want without having to ask. They want to relive those days of being a child, of being attended to, of being given everything without having to work for it. Always on their guard, looking for attention or a lack of attention. This tends to push people away and it isolates them. They even begin to look permanently disappointed in their face. They're always offended, always pushing people away, always trying to always selfishly trying to relive their childhood. Always trying to have someone do everything for them without them doing anything. Those people, you don't want to be around them because they'll make you feel guilty. It's either your fault or we're not friends anymore. And if you feel bad, you know what? They have you. If you feel any guilt towards leaving them, that means they have you in their grips. Be careful with insulting these kinds of people as well. They have long memories and will get back to you years later. So it's best, like I said earlier, to identify them and avoid them. You see, with these toxic types, you just got to avoid them. That's why knowledge of this, it's an end of itself. But if you're in it, then you got to get out. But the best solution for all of this is to avoid them. The next one, Lebron James. Not LeBron, the drama queen. My fault. They draw you in with their exciting presence, energy, and stories they have to tell. Oh man, they sure are exciting. They sure do have a lot to say. They sure are interesting. They are very animated and funny people. These people love attention. As children, they learn to loathe by creating problems to their parents to solve. And as a result, it became a habit. The way these people got attention is through creating drama, which became a habit. When they felt sad and lonely, they create drama they only themselves could solve. They live for confrontation when others shrink from it. They live for confrontation. They love the fighting. You know those people that keep it real? Those people who hold my earrings, Melissa. Those kind of people. You know those people who say, anybody got a problem with you? Hit me up. I got you, girl. Those kind of people. I'm happy you got me. I'm happy you got me. But we ain't hanging out. You're a drama queen, girl. You're a drama queen. Your ass is gonna get me beat. Okay, right? So how do you know someone's a drama queen? They'll tell you, man. They'll tell you about their problem. They'll tell you there's always something going on with them. There's always a conflict. You'll notice, you hear the stories, you hear how they got in a fight here and there. Pay attention. Pay attention. If you're hearing them beefing all the time, they're a drama queen. I know a couple of drama queens in my life, and those kind of people, man, it's like they walk with drama. It's this crazy thing in the world. They always attract drama. I've had people who I've gotten mad at, and I'd be like, yo, dude, who the fuck is this bitch, man? Like, I cannot believe this chick got me mad. And they were like, dude, this chick all gets everyone mad. And I'm like, no shit. Of course this chick gets everyone mad. She got me mad? That means she gets everyone mad. I'm telling you, people. Right? The next one, we know this one. The big talker. Oh, Lord have mercy. They have amazing ideas and big talkers, but they're not dependable. They know how to hype their projects up, but have little to no background in it. They are afraid of the work and the effort that goes into putting in their ideas. We all know these people. We all know who they are. The big talkers. So this conflict happens in their head, and what usually wins is their anxiety. They'll back out. We even know this with women. Those girls. Oh, that was like your dick. No, I'm kidding. Well, those women who say, oh yeah, let's hang out, sure, let's hang out, sure. Oh, sorry, something came up, right? And that's anyone in general. Anyone who talks a big game, I've talked a big game before. You know what that meant? That meant that was bullshit. Anytime I've talked a big game, it was usually bullshit. Think about that. Usually when you don't have to talk a big game, that means what you have to offer is fire. There's no other way around it. They are afraid of the work and effort. All right. So this conflict happens in their head. So they're afraid of the work and effort that goes into putting their ideas to work. But they are afraid of the work towards it. So this conflict happens in their head, and what usually wins is their anxiety. These people had parents who were always turning on them as a result. They fear disappointing that leads to judgment. Right, and that's understandable. If you're as a kid, if you're afraid to disappoint your parents, you're gonna have anxiety at the prospect of having to do work and be judged by it. You're gonna have anxieties. You see what I'm saying? But look for the big talkers with no background. Those people, avoid them. They'll talk a lot. They'll talk about the things they'll do. So if you're dealing with them, I would recommend, don't be mean, but just amuse yourself in their stories. We all know those big talkers. Just listen. Don't pay attention. Don't take them too seriously, because we all have those kind of big talkers in our lives. It's good to understand them, so that you could put things into perspective. In other words, so that you know not to take them seriously. It's like, Kramer from Seinfeld? Kramer, the big talker, right? The next one, the sexualizer. They have sexual energy that comes from a dark place, right? It's a compulsion. You see those people who love, who turn everything into sex, who have a sexual energy? Nothing wrong with that. But that some of them, that sexual energy comes from a dark place. It comes as a compulsion. They see every relationship as potentially sexual. Why? Because they see it as validation. As they get older, it gets harder. And their self-esteem goes down with it. Right? Because for them, it gets harder to find partners as they get older. It makes sense that they're gonna feel like shit. Like, fuck, my magic ain't working no more. These people, in their youths, will have sex-filled lives, but with an underlying emptiness to it. How sad is that, right? Fuck. You would think that sex-filled lives wouldn't have emptiness too, but it does have emptiness. You know, we all have that. When you have sex, and then you feel sad inside. Yeah, so that's possible, people. Yeah, don't shake your heads. That's possible. You know, and that's because it's coming from a compulsion. You're trying to feel better right now. The next one is the Pampered Princess. They like things being done for them. They have a calm presence that reeks of superiority. I've seen these women before, man. Women and people. They have an arrogant sense of they have an arrogant streak to them. They love getting people to do things for them. These were children who made their parents do their biddings by acting helpless. If you feel guilty for not helping them, guess what? They got you. We all seen a lot of them, you know? People who love getting, look, man, I mean, pay attention to the stories that people tell you, man. Pay attention. Pay attention. Some people might say, yeah, look, I met this dude, you know, and I just wanted to, like, saying like, yeah, let's just say you're talking to a girl and she's like, yeah, I just met this guy, and, you know, I just wanted him to buy me drinks. I wasn't really interested in him. Look, man, women do that sometimes, right? But for the most part, they don't, right? They do that sometimes, but for the most part, they don't. If she has to mention that, what you're hearing is a reflection of her character. You might say, the reason why you don't put a lot of emphasis in that is because you might think it's just once. You gotta realize people repeat themselves a lot. You know, you ever had a friend who were like, oh, he's a funny dude, right? And then you see him talking to someone new, and then you're like, wait, dude, you said that story. You said that story when we were together. What the fuck, dude? You're like, I always say that story. You know, like people are never. When you see people, they're just repeating the same things they say, the same way they say it most of the time, and it just feels new because you don't know them. But always be in context. Don't assume it's an isolated incident, but at the same time, don't assume that what they're doing, they always do. Just keep an open mind. Everyone you meet, you should always be storing up things of their character in your head. Always be reassessing them in your head. Always. This takes effort, I know. But guess what? That's why most people suck at this, because this takes effort. All right? All right, people. Other thing, we're gonna end the clash. Don't stop. Don't give me that face. Stop crying. We're gonna end the clash show today. All right, people. If you guys enjoy this, for people who are on the camera, if you guys enjoy this, just go to mindfulattraction.org. I mean, go to the link below. You guys will be able to purchase my my online courses. I have online courses. I have ebooks. I have a lot of things online. I have my online course on the psychological game of attraction. It shows you guys the tips and tricks. Together, Gotta Love You from start to finish is a systematic system that I have. And my book club, this book club, every week you're gonna get a new video. Some weeks we don't make videos because of logistical purposes, but the videos are pretty goddamn long. Usually they're 1 hour, but today they're a little short because we're finishing the chapter up. All right, people, I hope you guys enjoy this. Don't forget to subscribe. And for you guys, thank you for coming. See you guys next week.